o'clock. I'd like to call the Bellefonte work session to order. Welcome everyone to the Borough Council work session. No council action is taken during the work session. I'm going to ask Mr. Bernier if he might have a trivia question for us tonight.
I do. There are 6 Pennsylvania state parks in Center County. Can you tell me what they are? 6 state parks in Center County.
Black Mishannon, Joseph Foster,
No.
Center County.
No, stop.
Bald Eagle.
Bald Eagle.
Yeah.
Bald Eagle.
Whipple's,
Well,
Po Valley
Whipple's Dam.
Po Patty.
and Po Valley.
Po Valley.
Whipple Dam is over in
Oh,
Huntington County.
Sorry.
How many do we have so far? 4.
I don't know, because you were rambling so many off, Johnson, nobody can. Black Mishannon, that's 5. There's only one more.
RV Winners.
Huntington Park.
Is it RV Winners?
Well, I think all RB Winners is also called McCall's Dam State Park.
That's a different park.
Nope,
That's a different
McCall's
McCall's.
Dam State Park. So you got Bald Eagle, Black Mishannon, McCall's Dam State Park, Penn Roosevelt, Po Patty, and Po Valley.
Okay.
And the one we just said down 192 is not a state park. Oh, it's not in Center County.
It's not.
Huntington.
Yeah.
There you go, Po Patty, Po Valley, Penn Roosevelt, McCall's Dam, I don't know where that is, Black Mishannon and Bald Eagle.
Okay.
All right here in Center County.
Nice.
Wonderful. That's why we have so much tourists and mountain biking and hiking, camping, canoeing, fishing. We've got it all here. Okay. Number 3, items for discussion, and it's our favorite topic, 2024 budget. You all received a copy of it?
Budget and fees combined.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're open
Yeah,
to.
it's sort of general.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you want to start with something, the fees? Yeah, I see it on top of your,
Well, I'll just say about the budget that I implemented everything that we talked about the last time. So that's the only changes that were made to the budget was the changes in the tax rates. And so it's all in there. I do have the fee schedule. Basically, the first 2 pages are from Center Region codes. Anything in yellow is what's going to change. The only exception to that being the new rental. That one was from Gina. So
Where's that? Where are we
the
at?
second page, the top.
New, okay.
Lodging? Yeah.
No, under rental fees.
New rental, I see.
Yeah, new rental. The good news is the transfer station is not increasing their rates, so there's no change in the rates for refuse. Sewer, even though it's highlighted, they haven't decided yet. The sewer and the water will be decided next week by the authority. We added the use of the new baseball field. We didn't have anything for that. And that's pretty much it. We didn't really change too much. It was mostly additions of a couple things. Like I said, with the exception of water and sewer that will be decided next week.
any questions for the fee schedule?
Yeah, I have
Yes,
one
Deb.
here, if I
Okay.
can find it.
Deb, go ahead, Deb.
I have one that's not related to any of the changes under water, sewer, and refuse.
Mhm.
There is a line for the vacancy application. What is a vacancy
That
application?
means if you're going to vacate your house for so many days, I forget what it is, we can,
They can reduce the rates if the house is empty. I think it's like up to 90 days, but don't quote me on that. There is a policy for people who leave, go to Florida or whatever.
Gonna
there-
renovate.
Renovate construction is another reason. It's a very limited reason. I think you still pay base rates, but there's a reduced rate if the house is under construction and nobody's there.
So the fees are not necessarily forfeit or
Zeroed out.
zeroed
They're
out.
not zeroed out, and those are set by the authority.
Okay, so there is still revenue. If a vacancy application has gone through, there still is a minimal revenue collected on these
I
properties.
believe that is correct.
There is I don't think there is for refuse, because the assumption is if you're not there, you're not putting out refuse. Water's by usage. So if you're not using water, there's no charge.
I think there's a base rate for water.
Yeah,
There
the
is a
base rate is still there, the
Yes.
$20 flat fee, but it's by usage. And then the sewer, I think, is a reduced rate.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Randy?
Under police false alarms, it has first and second in a 6-month time period are free, then $100 per occurrence thereafter. I think with the state of our buildings in Bellefonte, I would like us to see first and second in a 3-month period and bump that to $125.
Okay. I think we may have to change the ordinance. We have an ordinance that governs false alarms. We can change the fee, but I don't know about the time sequence. I think that we'd have to look at and see if the ordinance needs to be amended.
Okay. But I just.
We can do that, yeah.
You said how much, 125?
125, because this was, the last time this was amended was 2010. So this is one year earlier.
Yes, it's come up a couple of times in our discussions with code about who handles it and that kind of thing, but I believe you're correct. The fee hasn't been changed and the 6-month policy hasn't been changed for years.
Under police, I have 2 questions. Under curfew, my first question, do we still have curfew on the books?
It's on the books.
Have we ever enforced it?
I can't answer that.
There's one way to find out.
And if not, why do we still have it?
I think that it's been enforced.
I can't, I don't.
Okay.
Okay, we should ask Sean.
Yes.
that.
Yeah, Sean would
Chief
know.
Weaver,
Yeah.
yes.
And that one was added in 2011.
Yeah.
I think in personal conversations with him, he said that some of the kids had.
I'd like the
curfew.
public to know, if that's true, I'd like them to have them to know what it is, because I didn't know we had one.
I think it's been on longer than that, but
Yeah.
again, we'd have
Yeah.
to see if it's been enforced.
The
Yes.
second one is cab stands and parking meter zones. Do we have any cab stands?
No, I thought we took those out.
That's why I was saying, I think this.
Remember, we
one-
cleaned up the streets ordinance?
Yeah, and so I think this whole section, this one needs to be zipped.
The cab stands are the whole
The
thing.
cab stands, because we don't have any, and it was removed from the parking
Yeah.
ordinance.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
it's-
streets, it was under
it's
streets
moved.
for some reason.
Let's see. I think the numbers for the taxes aren't updated to what's on the resolution we're supposed to pass. Okay, that popped
Well,
up.
Clarification, the tax ordinance was updated. Is that what you're asking about?
Yeah, the taxes are listed here.
Oh,
But they're
okay.
not,
Oh,
they're
okay,
not,
yes, okay. Yeah, so that's just, this is all draft.
right.
We're looking for input, and we'll have input from now till the next meeting, then we'll adopt it. And we can still change the fee schedule at any meeting.
Okay.
So-
Under Parks and Rec, we did add use the baseball field. Do we have rental, the soccer field, the pickleball courts for when groups come in? I know that when just the general public comes in, they're used for free, but if a group wants to come in, I believe that there should be some kind of fee, so that, because it's actually taking away the possibility of a family, say, coming in and playing pickleball for a while.
We've not had any issues. Now, when somebody comes in about using the soccer field for a tournament, we previously have given those to council.
So
And
they're the kind of things that I think we might want to consider.
we can take that back. I don't think we had anything set. And sometimes they're waived by council if they're charities. I've seen that.
Yeah,
But keep in mind, we can adopt a fee at any meeting.
right.
So.
But since we're talking about it, it
Yes.
seemed like a good idea to bring
Yes.
it up. And the final one is, what is an air pollution control variance?
It should probably be taken off because it's probably a leftover from 1970-something when we had
They said it was
Greenlaw.
added in 2011.
I'm just,
I
Bellefonte,
think that was added to because of Westler's working with.
I could be, I was thinking Bellefonte Lime, but there might have been something, when Westlers first opened the crematorium, there was a couple issues. I don't recall which issue it was. But the air pollution board was definitely from Bellefonte Lime days,
Yeah, and it's-
1970 something.
and we've never updated it,
Yeah.
and it's way.
Well,
outdated.
it's not something we should be trying to regulate. You know, it's specialized equipment, processes. We're not set up to regulate air pollution.
So ditch that one too.
Others?
Well, that sounds like you've done a pretty good job.
Yeah, that's the fee schedule. Do you have a question, Randy?
Yeah, real quick, on open burn permits. Where is that possible in Bellefonte?
It's not possible.
So
Unless
is that
somebody
another
gets,
one that we should look at, maybe?
probably take it out,
away?
because we haven't had that allowed for ages as well.
Because it talks about the disposal, so
Yeah.
it's not talking about a pit or anything
No,
like
it
that.
doesn't sound like it. So if you want to take a look at the budget book documents, we can flip through that. We're just trying to give you an overview or let citizens know what's going to be posted to look at. So we have this budget book, we call it. It's a draft document of our budget. As I go over the couple of things, you can just flip down through, Dawn, or catch the headlines. First one is a budget message. Page numbers are hard to see because they're in the dark area, so I can't exactly see what page it is, but it starts with the budget message. That's a couple pages. We have a table of contents which tells you what's in the budget book. We have a budget in brief. We can look at that real quick. You know, take your time. There we go. Still hard to see, but it goes down and says general fund, there's no increase. Street lighting, a 0.5 mil increase. Fire department operating, a 0.05 increase. Fire equipment, no increase proposed. Parks, no increase. Water and sewer is under the authority. Refuse, no proposed increase. Special projects, liquid fuel is not applicable. Emergency medical services, 0.05 increase is proposed. And the projects, capital projects and bulk water is not applicable with fee increases. So there's 3 funds that have proposed increases. So that's highlighted here in this budget brief or budget in brief page. We have the reader's guide that kind of gives you another overview of the budget and what's in this budget book. We have the real estate tax 101, kind of an explanation of what a millage, what a mill is in taxes, and what the average tax assessed value is for a property in Bellefonte, and how to calculate the mills. We have 3 taxing bodies everybody deals with: county government, borough government, and the school district, so that's in here. We have a draft of the tax ordinance we will adopt or look to adopt at the meeting on December 18th. It also has the proposed increases in those same 3 funds. A few years ago, the state allowed for a resolution to be approved if there was no tax increase. So we have the ordinance and we have it advertised because we are proposing an increase at this time.
One curiosity question, are we totally out of debt? Because there's nothing listed in there for debt purposes.
I don't think that's the purpose, yeah.
We don't levy a tax for
Okay.
debt.
Yeah, that's not the purpose.
Okay.
It's the funds, and, yeah, we don't have a tax that goes to debt specifically. It's for these funds, as mentioned previously.
Okay.
So.
That's nice.
Yes, it is. We're fortunate, we're in very good shape, you know, our pension funds, all those are in very good order. The next page, still can't see the page number, it looks like maybe 11 officials and staff roster for your review, the public's review as well. The organizational chart is the next page. We did update that to the best of our knowledge.
Minor point. Under Borough Council, Randy is missing from the list.
What?
Yes, Randy.
Sorry about that. Somehow, okay, thank you. Somehow, maybe he's hidden somewhere, but we'll find him. Thank you for that. That could be. We'll fix that. Sorry about that. We put in the strategic management plan, goals and objectives. I believe it's 2021, so I cut and pasted all the different sections of goals and recommendations and put them together and put them in here for us to look at as well as any citizen to look at. The 2024 goals, these are just staff's thoughts and listening to discussions throughout the budget season. We're looking for comments, additions, subtractions, what have you. It's a plan. It's, you know, it's not etched in stone, but it's just planned goals for 2024. A couple more pages, we have what we believe is our accomplishments for 2023. Same thing, we might have missed something, it might not be a complete list, but leave us know any feedback that you have on that. Then we get into each fund. Each fund is like its own checking account. It must have a set of revenue numbers and a set of expenditure numbers, and they must equal for the year. And so we have multiple funds. The general fund is the largest. It's mostly real estate supported, real estate tax supported, always the most difficult to balance. As I mentioned, there's no proposed increase, which is a major milestone for council. But the new thing we did is we implemented Julie's work with the pie charts, and we try to look at the top areas of revenues and expenditures for as many of the funds as we could. And then following the kind of the quick facts, we get into the detailed spreadsheets from Lori that provide the weeds. Yes, the weeds very much. Every detail that we have is here for anybody to look at. Revenues, expenditures, the subcategories of the general fund, the whole everything that we have. And then each fund is the same. So I'm not going to go over each fund, but each fund has the same detail, the same quick set of facts for you to look at or anybody to look at. And then, so we go through all the funds and clearly say whether there's a proposed increase or not. And then we end up with a new page, looking for it here. We added the beginning of a capital budget plan on the last page. It's, again, I want to thank Julie for starting this. It's our beginning work of the capital budget plan. So we will build on this in budgets to come. And, you know, we're looking for feedback on anything you have.
So the renovation of the new building isn't considered
Well,
part of this?
No, it's not considered part of this. It is captured separately. Lori has a separate spreadsheet on it. But this is really primarily start with our operating, the services that we provide: water, sewer, garbage collection, fire equipment, firefighting. Those services that we're involved in, we want to have a capital improvement replacement plan and funds available if possible to replace capital items in a timely manner with funds available if possible. So that's where we're starting. Most of these are 5 years. Some water and sewer bigger projects are 10 years, but we'd like to start with about a 5-year plan. What else was I definitely want to thank Lori. She does the bulk of the work, a tremendous amount of work behind the scenes, and we couldn't do any of this without her. So I want to say thank you publicly to Lori for doing all this, and I have the easy part. I just put things together and make it look good, so. But I don't, if you have any questions, let us know.
So is the Spring Creek watershed still in this?
I don't think we finalized, that's my recollection. And, I think we're holding that for your final approval. I think we had some discussions whether to leave it in, but my recollection is we never formally have approved the increase. So I would say at the next meeting, we need to do that.
But right now, I understand it is in the budget and it's in the general section.
That's my recollection, but I don't
And
think we
it's still
formally.
part of the fully.
It's part of the numbers. It can still be added in, even if it wasn't, because we're going to adopt this budget at the next meeting. But my understanding is it's built in, but I don't think it's formally been approved. So we'll put that.
Nothing has.
I don't think anything, no, the budget hasn't, and that was like an exterior request for funding, same as like EMS requested. Nothing's been approved yet.
So
So we-
just out of curiosity, I mean, there's so much here. Where in the line items is that at? Do you happen to know?
It's in the bulk water fund.
Oh, yeah, that's where we
Okay.
originally, was
Okay.
originally approved to
That's why I'm
take it
not
out of
finding-
that fund
Looking
way
in the
back
bottom.
when.
Papers out.
I don't know what
Bulk
page
water's
it's
towards the bottom.
on.
The best I can,
It's
towards the
last
end.
one before the-
Page 68, somewhere around there. Expenses, 67.
Almost to the bottom. It's 598. It's up at the bottom.
Okay, thanks. Page
That's the
68.
water fund.
Okay.
Yes.
68, okay. Oops, not 40, 68.
I'll zoom down. It's past EMS.
I don't see it in there.
It's not in,
Is it labeled as something else?
Yes, it's labeled as.
Conservation of natural
yeah.
Oh, that's
resources.
Right, it's in
Conservation.
something else.
That's right, because we also pay,
481.500.
that's right, we also pay something to Clearwater for them to check the levels and things in Spring Creek.
Because I think the Spring Creek Watershed Commission's only like, what, $600 or something?
It's
like that?
600 going to 900 as
Yeah.
a proposed
Yeah, it's a
increase.
$300
It went up
increase.
a nickel per capita.
Yeah, okay.
so you'll think, we'll get that on the agenda next time.
I thought it was on there because we talked.
Well, we'll put it formally on the council
Yeah.
agenda
Yeah.
for approval.
Way back on page 26 for council expenses, the very first line that has council salaries looks like it's missing. It jumps from expenses to social security costs, but there is the amount budgeted for 23 and 24. It's like that line is missing.
Yeah, I
It might
noticed
be
that
in
too.
it might be in the booklet. I think they have to do some jockeying around the numbers from my spreadsheets to the booklet.
Yes.
So it might have
Okay.
got truncated or.
It looks like
Yes.
it just got truncated.
Sometimes the lines are covered up, and I gotta expand them.
Yeah.
I must have missed
Okay.
that one.
There's one on page 28 too, that's like,
Smooshed it.
Okay, that's what happened.
If you see any more of
Yes,
those,
I
let us know.
Yep, 28 does it.
Okay.
Chief, a question came up before you got here about, you still enforcing curfew for, I thought you were,
Yeah.
but We were just gonna confirm it with you, so.
Yes, we do.
There you go.
And what is the curfew? Can we ask that again during the regular meeting so that the people could?
9 for under 16, 10 for 16 and over, off the top of my head.
Sean, could we ask you that question again during the regular meeting?
Yes, but I want to make sure I get the right
Yeah,
answer.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, okay.
If I
Okay.
don't know it, I'll find it.
Yeah, I know, yeah, it's fine. It came up as a question, and since you came in, I thought I'd ask for Joanne. Anything else? Again, Lori, Ralph, Dawn, Julie, did a good job, great job.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thanks for your hard work. Are there any other questions for the budget discussion? If not, I'm going to adjourn the meeting. Hearing none, the work session is adjourned. The Bellefonte Borough Council business meeting to order. It's Monday, December 4th, and we'd like to have a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Stewart, could I have the roll call, please?
Mr. Benier. Here. Mr. Brackbill.
Here.
Ms. Cleaton.
Here.
Ms. Dan.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Present.
Ms. McKean. Is it excused?
Is
That's
it
right.
excused?
Yes. Ms. Purnell.
Here.
Ms. Sedgwick.
Here.
Ms. Tosti Vasey.
I'm here.
Mayor Johnson is also excused.
Great, thank you, Ralph.
Thanks.
In accordance with Act 65, if the matter is not on the agenda, council cannot take official action on it, with some exceptions. Council can act on matters relating to potential or real emergencies. Council may add a matter of agency business to its agenda through a majority vote. Council should state the reason why the action item is being added to the agenda. Council may vote to add an action item or items to the agenda. Is there any action items that council would wish to add to the agenda tonight? Hearing none, we'll move forward to public comment. This is a comment period regarding any action items listed on the agenda or any comments in general. There is no deliberation entered by council at this time. If you're here for public comment, please sign in, come to the podium, state your name and address and the item you're speaking about, and we limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak at this time? Seeing none or hearing none, we'll move forward. Communications written. Mr. Stewart, would you take that, please?
Sure. First one is from CataGo or Cata about their CataGo program. There's a new app available for download starting Wednesday, December 8th. Has a couple of different platforms. I just suggest going to the Cata website for more details if you're interested. There's no action with that, and I believe that's all we have for written communications.
Okay, thank you. Now it's the consent agenda. Items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be acted upon by a single motion. There is no separate discussion of these items unless members of council request an item to be removed for separate action. So is there anybody that requests to move the only and one item on the consent agenda? Yes, Randy?
It's a question I have in minutes.
The what?
The minutes
She-
were
she's
not
they're not
available.
ready.
The person does it was away, I believe.
Over the holiday.
Yeah,
I'll make
so-
a motion to approve the
Consent agenda?
consent agenda as shown.
I'll second.
It was Joanne, Randy and Joanne. Any discussion of those in favor of the motion? Roll call.
Mr. Bernier,
Here.
Mr. Brackbill,
Yes.
Ms. Cleaton, Ms. Dan,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Purnell,
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick,
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey.
Yep.
Great, thank you. Reports, Mayor is excused tonight, but I don't believe is there any message from the mayor?
Can we ask our police question now?
Sure.
Sean,
Yes, ma'am.
we noticed on the fee schedule that there's fines for violating curfews,
Yes.
and we understand that that still is in effect. So what are the ages, and and we could let people know?
Yes, I thought you might ask that question tonight. So 11 years of age or less is 9 p.m. 12 and 13-year-olds are 9:30 p.m. 14 and over to obviously the age of 17 is 10 p.m. There are exceptions, which are too plentiful to list right now, and they are they can be found in the website under the Bellefonte Borough Codified Ordinances to be section 244-5, and it's a big long list. Some of those exceptions can be employment, or if they have mayor consent, or if they're in a car with their parent or guardian.
Thanks.
All right.
I think that's, yeah, I think that's quite helpful because I didn't know that they still existed, and I'm sure that there are many parents here in town. And what they don't know is it's not the kids that are fined, it's the parents that are fined.
I think that's always the way it's been. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So we'll move on from the mayor. We have the Office of Community Affairs. It's in your packets. It's just a schedule of meetings that are upcoming. The Planning Commission will meet on Monday, the 11th at 5 p.m. HARB's next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, December 12th at 8:30 a.m. At this time, there's no report from Gina. So we'll move on to current and old business. Consider approval of the 2024 budget and its advertise, make it available for public inspection. The tax ordinance / resolution adoption and budget approval will be considered at the December 18th council meeting. I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the tentative 2024 budget.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Barbara.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Deb. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I'd like a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bernier.
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill.
Yes.
Ms. Clayton.
Yes.
Ms. Dan.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes,
Ms. Purnell.
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick.
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey.
Yes,
thank you, Dawn. Next item is Solar United Neighbors, or SUN, Partnership for Center County Solar Co-op. I'm looking for a motion and a second to partner with Solar United Neighbors on the second Center County Solar Co-op.
so moved.
Thank you, Joanne.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Deb. Discussion.
I was just wondering if this is more of an endorsement of the organization rather than a partnership.
Basically, there's no cost to the borough. We would only need to put an announcement on the website, and anyone who might be interested would then contact them. The last time we did this, just FYI, there were 3 homeowners here in Bellefonte who took advantage of the opportunity. I think that with the IRA tax credits, it would be a good time for anyone in the community who's interested to learn more about it, who could afford it, to do this. Also, the last time they did it, they gave us yard signs to put up to give people, and that doesn't cost us anything either. So then we may actually even still have those signs, I don't know.
I was just wondering, I went to their website, and the most recent information they have was from 2021, which is when we collaborated with them before, and that was before half council were on board, so I wasn't sure how much information would be helpful for people who weren't familiar with this project before, but I would certainly advocate endorsing it.
It's a nonprofit organization that works with the community members who say we're interested in it. And being a co-op, the members of the co-op are the ones that look together and try to find a contractor who they feel would be the best one to provide them with the services. So it's just that we advertise it through our website. They then handle everything else, basically.
Right.
And they do hold some, last time, I don't know if they're going to do it this time or not, they held open houses. One was held here in Bellefonte, there was another one out, there was one in State College, there was one out in Penns Valley, and I think there was one down near Pine Grove Mills.
So people could contact this group even if we aren't part of it, is that correct?
I think so, I'm not absolutely sure.
I looked at part of the website, it looked like
Yeah.
it, but I wasn't 100% sure on
Well,
that.
could this be, I mean, to me, if this is something for the residents, then I would support it.
And
And if Bellefonte puts it on the website, I see that as more of a benefit to the residents than it does to the borough, so.
Any other comments, questions? It's at no cost to the borough.
Correct.
Now or in the future,
Correct,
guaranteed.
correct.
Okay. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bernier.
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill.
Yes.
Ms. Clayton.
Yes.
Ms. Dan.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes,
Ms. Purnell?
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick?
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Basie?
Yes.
great, thank you. Council member, conference expense reimbursement request. Looking for a motion and a second to remove this request from the table.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Deb. Second?
A second.
Thank you. Johanna? Discussion? There's no discussion, it's removed from the table.
Have a vote to remove it from the table. And then.
Yeah. So, roll call, please.
Mr. Bernier?
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill?
Yes.
Ms. Cleaton?
Yes.
Ms. Dan?
No.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes,
Ms. Purnell?
No.
Ms. Sedgwick?
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Basie? You're abstaining?
I'm abstaining.
Five to two.
5-2, it
And one
passed.
abstain.
Okay. So that brings the motion off the table. And that approves the reimbursement?
No, it
Brings it off.
Yeah,
You have to
yeah,
ask
that's
for
what I
a
thought.
Motion,
Oh, the motion, next motion,
yeah.
I missed that in here. That's why I was rereading it. Motion to approve the reimbursement for the conference expenses.
We have discussion now.
Well, we need a
Yes,
motion
and
to,
a second,
to-
yeah.
I'll make
Deb
that
is
motion.
making the motion. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Johanna has seconded the motion. Now there is discussion of the approval of the reimbursement for conference expenses.
I have a couple of issues with this, if I might. First of all, from my understanding, and I think we talked about this last time, there has to be prior approval from the manager. Is that correct? And I understand that that's a little hazy.
It is hazy. I have nothing in writing. We may have, whether Joanne said she was going, I don't recall that. If it was in passing, I don't recall. But I did check my emails, and Joanne verified it wasn't by email, it was
It was face-to-face.
a verbal discussion.
And maybe this kind of brings to light that we maybe do need some sort of a formal procedure. I understand that the other folks that went to the other conference went through the office to get their reservations, so it was kind of like understood that they were approved to go. Whereas
Yes.
she made her own arrangements and then asked for reimbursement later,
No,
right?
no, I
mean,
asked,
Could I have some order, please? Joanne, you will have your time to discuss Rita has some questions, so let her.
I'm not saying that you didn't ask, I'm saying that it's hazy that there was approval given and you made your own arrangements, is that correct?
I made the arrangements because in the past, when we went to the administrative assistant to do it, she said because of my multiple chemical sensitivities, which is a disability under the ADA, that it would be better for me to go through and do it myself. So that's what I did this time, just as I have done every other time that I have made reservations for conferences.
Okay, and the other question I have about that then too, and just out of curiosity, how long have you been on council?
This is my 8th year.
So were you aware that you need prior approval to do,
That's why I asked.
okay, I just wanted to make sure that you were aware. Okay, as far as the receipts go, my understanding is that all of them are supposed to be itemized.
They are.
No, they aren't. There are 2 receipts in there that just give the totals, and you wrote on the one that says minus wine or something, and the other one also was like that. That it's just the total.
Those were the receipts that I was given.
Okay, wait a minute. Are they, the side-by-side receipts, are they both for the same thing?
Yes, they are.
Okay, well, I'm gonna wait.
There's one that one's for 47 something,
Uh-huh.
and the one on the right side is the detail, and the one on the left was the credit card where I subtracted out the wine.
Okay, the Hare Ridge, there is not a detailed one though for
That's
it.
2 nights.
I understand that, but I'm saying, you just wrote on there less the amount for wine, so there's
No.
not actually an itemized for that one.
The Her Ridge Inn, okay, let me look at it. Hold on a second, I can't answer without seeing it. Was that in this meeting? Thank you.
You couldn't, you took it from here. This is the one you're talking about right now, I think.
No, this one I think she's already answered. She's talking,
That's the one that's not
Okay.
itemized.
okay,
Yeah.
that was all they gave me.
Okay.
And that's where I took the $8.64 off, because they put the wine on there, even though I had asked them not to. And it was, if you want to know, it was a shrimp platter.
Okay, the other concern I have about this, and I know some other people might have some comments too, but we discontinued membership in this league earlier in the year. And I'm just wondering why you chose to go to this conference instead of the one that everybody
Because I
else
think-
went to.
Because I think it's a very good conference. And in the past, when we weren't members of PML, we have gone to this sustainability conference, not the main conference, but the sustainability, because this is one particular area that the PSAB does not cover. And if you go look back in the records, prior to joining PML, there was at least 2 occasions that Don went to that conference, and 1 occasion where I went to that conference while I was on council. What happened before that, I don't know.
We didn't have them before.
But that was something where they brought us on for no cost.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What
Well,
I'm
just telling you
saying,
why we were members of it,
right,
because we got on for no cost. But then over the years, it increased, was increasing and increasing,
right,
and it was duplication.
yeah.
And that's why we got
But-
out of it.
That's not, I think what her question was, and what I'm trying to say, is that before we became a member at the free cost and increasing cost over time, there was at least 2 or 3 years while I was on council where there were PML sustainability conferences. Don went to one year, and he and I went to another one a different year, and that was both of them before we ever joined PML.
I think the question on many of our minds is not whether or not she had chicken or shrimp, but how in the world could less than a month ago a conversation take place between her and our borough manager, who we all
It
agree
was-
is fiscally sound and financially responsible, and him not recall or approve an expensive business trip to an organization that we voted to not belong to anymore? That's what I
This-
think, or I hope, is on most of our minds, not whether or not she had red wine, or it was itemized, or she ate chicken. I would hope that we would approve that for any of us if we went on a trip and we screwed up our receipts. My question, and I think my fellow council member questions are, how could that not have been approved? How could there be questions about whether or not it was approved? It was just on November 5th, right?
It was-
Or
Can I
early
make-
November? Joanne, We
I'm
have
not saying anything,
questions,
I'm
I'm
getting
trying to
very
portray them.
angry,
I don't
because it
understand
sounds like I'm
how
being
that-
shamed.
how that could not be clear. How many trips did our council members go on in 2023? Would you say? One,
Maybe 2.
I did
maybe
too.
2, and they were approved, and there was no question. I don't understand why this one is.
I have comments similar to you. I'm sorry, Kent, were you finished?
Yeah, I'm done. That's okay.
Thank you.
You're
Sorry
welcome.
about that.
It's all right.
I looked at this and looked at the facts on this, and you were right, in 2022, at the end of the year, we passed this, that we no longer were members of PML. Typically, anytime any of us have gone to a conference, the information has been shared in council, and we were told to contact the office, and if we were interested in attending. All the PSAB conferences that I've attended have been coordinated through the borough's admin assistant, who then made arrangements to have the conference paid for. I don't understand why your conference wasn't coordinated through the borough let me talk. Like everybody else's has been, I'm also very concerned that there was no paper trail with this, and anybody that does any kind of business, works in government, there has to be a paper trail. And this was a significant amount, and I think that it's, that we should not have done this. You should not have done this without having written authorization of this. You pay great attention to detail, Joanne. You dot every I, cross every T, and I count on that sometimes with you. So I was really surprised that this happened. You did not mention attending this conference at any council meeting that I recall. We as a council do not have the authority to spend taxpayer money at our own discretion. On our goal list, it's specifically stated that elected officials are to attend at least one annual Borough Association conference. PML is not a borough association, and we do not belong to this association. My question to you is, why not attend a PSAB conference just like everyone else?
I attended, when in January we were told we could attend any one conference for municipal government during the year. Knowing that, and knowing that the sustainability conference was coming up, I decided not to attend the PSAB so I could have a chance of going to the PSAB. I then, in August, not October, but August, when I got back from Italy, came in and asked if I could do it, could go to the conference. I was told yes. None of you have ever had to put in writing that you were going to a conference. You just needed to ask the administrator. That's exactly what I did. It's the same process.
No, it is
yes,
not.
I understand that usually you go through the administrative assistants to make the reservation. As I previously stated, I was told last year and the year before that, because of my disability issues, to make those reservations myself. So that's what I did.
The reservation for the conference itself or for your hotel?
And when I called for the hotel, they told me it was totally booked. So then I looked for the cheapest place I could find.
That was not my question. My question was, when
But the
you,
hotel-
when
right,
the
the-
conference registration, did you need, you don't need anything special for that?
No.
Okay,
but I-
and that's what you should have had them cover, and that way someone would have been made aware that you're interested in attending that conference, and there would have been your written authorization if it was approved.
If you knew in August you were attending, why didn't you register then?
That's when I did register. I
did.
registered
In
at that
August.
time, and by
And-
that
and
time.
it was
the
full?
vote- Yes, because they
Okay.
had opened it up earlier than that, but by the time I went around,
Okay,
it just wasn't available.
okay. From my own personal experience, Joanne, I always pass all that stuff through the borough administration, and I double check. Whether I'm making my own reservations or not, I always clear it at least 2 or 3 times. And also, for me, I would have made the announcement that I am attending the PML conference in November prior to when I was leaving, just to inform council that you're going there. And there was no mention of that I recall before you attended. So it comes out of the dark, you know, that this is submitted. That's, can't you see that point of view at all? That you made no mention of it from
I-
August until November.
I just followed procedures that I had understood and I had done in the past. Apparently, we do need some hard-written policy and programs, because I'm the one that's getting, and I'm going to use a nasty word, got screwed this evening, because I followed what I understood the procedures to be, and now you're all saying you're not going to be paying. That is not proper. All I have asked from the beginning is to be treated like everybody else. If everyone else gets their meals, their registration, and their hotel, then I should be able to get that too. And for the one conference that I went to, some of you went to 2. even though we only said one for the year. I only went to one. This was the one I chose and I went to and I got permission, and I expect to be reimbursed just like everybody else.
I'd just like to point out that a number of us did go to the PSAB meeting, and I personally did not submit any receipts for reimbursement for my hotel room.
And I as well have not
If you look
asked
at the
for any
line item in the
reimbursement.
budget for conferences, there has been money reimbursed, but it certainly doesn't cover the expenses of everybody who was there. For me personally, the borough covered the registration fee.
Yeah, I didn't submit any expenses at all. I paid the whole bill. But that's my choice.
Right.
Every council member is entitled to
Reimbursement
that.
is
Yeah.
submitting reimbursement for
The
reimbursement
last
situations.
convention or the meeting, it was basically just the officers. Nobody else from council wanted to go. At our most recent PSAB.
But that's not to say that every council member is entitled to that, that benefit or that being attended.
So I have a couple questions too. And I think the room rate you got for where you were was probably a good rate. And I don't, as far as your registration, that was 175. And then you get into the meals, and it talks about 2 people, and you had mentioned at the last meeting that it was,
Me, myself, and I.
so you and yourself and I had a dinner for $54,
Yes, and I said I did not expect to be fully reimbursed for that.
and then the other one was 45.
Do not expect to be fully reimbursed for that one
Well,
either.
that's why I asked earlier about this.
And that's why I said that I didn't know what the values were, and that Don said he had the daily reimbursement, and that's,
So did you come up with any numbers?
$667.71.
And that covers,
Registration, hotel, meals and incidentals,
but no travel.
and travel.
Okay.
And travel.
now the travel part
Travel
too,
would
again,
be
was
65 cents a mile, I think it is right now.
6.655. It came, the mileage on this was 300, but it's 260 miles between Bellefonte and Gettysburg. And to me, that's what this does. It pays for your trip from Bellefonte to Gettysburg, because I don't know where where you stayed, how far, but it's another 40 miles that you're adding to this.
It was 3 days, and it's 10 miles.
Did you drive down each day?
No.
Well, that's what I'm asking. That is,
It's about 10 miles between the hotel and where I stayed.
but the hotel was your choice, based on what you
Because it was
find.
the cheapest one I could find.
So was there, I assume you drove your EV. Was it
Yes.
free charging at the bed and breakfast?
If you don't want to pay me for the mileage,
No,
so be it.
the law says 65 cents a mile, that's what we pay. But if you're comfortable with it, that's comfortable for you,
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Any other
No, that
questions?
was all.
The question isn't the reimbursement. Once again, I mean, we just spent 20 minutes talking about, are we paying for water, Coke, or pizza? The question is, do we believe that this was an approved trip? If it's not been approved, if we're not convinced that the trip wasn't approved, we're not reimbursing. That's fiscally spending the borough's money. Now we're talking, once again, about the cost of EV charging and what hotel was cheaper. Do you believe that Mr. Stewart doesn't recall? Or do you believe that, it's his mistake? You have to be approved for your travel. I can't believe we're spending this much time on it. I can't believe we tabled it and brought it back. I traveled my whole career. It's not a hard written law written on 10 pages of brick that gets you approved. You ask your boss, hey, can I go to this conference? Yep, no problem. There it is, done. He would recall that. Yes, I'll approve you to go to a meeting with an organization that we voted to not belong to anymore. And everyone's just going past that and trying to figure out whether or not the mileage is correct. We're not convinced it was approved travel. If it's not approved travel, we're not reimbursing. I move to have this voted on because that's the question, not whether or not she had pizza or red wine or got the cheapest hotel. Was it approved? That's the question before me, that was posed before me as a council member. Not what she ate, or if she got the cheapest hotel.
Kent, you're correct.
So
And
can we
have-
vote on this?
And we have
You're
no written proof that this happened. And Joanne, you would be responsible for sending a follow-up email saying pursuant to our conversation. That's all that takes. It's simple business and government.
So, Kent, what you just asked for is a, move the question.
Yes.
Yeah,
You called the question.
We can call the vote too, right?
You
I
can
mean,
call
does
the
it have to
question.
be, yeah.
That's what you
Can we
just asked
vote?
for.
I just wanted to point out that this was new. This is new. This never has happened before. And what, Ralph doesn't remember, he doesn't remember because he was sitting at his desk doing his work. Joanne's saying that's a his, her type thing. And I don't want to get into a pissing match just because we might want to at least pay some of that cost. And then we fix this damn thing so it doesn't happen again.
Absolutely. It's done.
I hear you, and I don't know the answer to your question.
I don't
Because
have a
I
question.
have two different stories, and both great.
I don't have a
both-
question, Mr. President.
Both of high character. Yeah, okay, but I want to amend the motion and ask, I can make a motion as a council president, or do I have to step down?
You can ask somebody else to make your motion.
Give it to
I have to give you this.
Don't pretend.
So,
I'll use
you're
it
the
if I need
president
it.
now. I'm going to ask for a motion to amend the motion and reimburse for the $667.71. Let's see. I think that's all I have to say, based on the direction from the finance director. Does that mean in my motion that I support this entirely? No. But I agree with Randy's point that this was not done as I would have done it. And we've spent a lot of time on this, and we need to revisit this and make sure that it's ironclad, this doesn't happen in the future. So I'm amending the motion, asking for a second.
I'll second your motion. Brackbill.
Any discussion on my amended motion?
Thank you.
No.
That's my comment.
Any other discussion?
I just want to note too that there have been issues that this council has turned down because things weren't exactly to the T. And one thing I can think of is fee waivers for nonprofits that were trying to rent our facilities. I know this is a totally different thing, but it's kind of the same thing too. I mean, if we're going to follow the rules, we need to follow the rules.
Yes. Yeah. Other questions?
I'll just back up Rita, is we need to provide that rule, which isn't there yet.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please. Do I need to state what we're voting on?
You're voting on your.
This is amended motion to reimburse Joanne Tostavasi for $667.71.
So it's a substitute motion, because if you vote,
Subsequent
yeah.
motion. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bernier,
No.
Mr. Brackbill,
Yes.
Ms. Clayton,
Yes.
Ms. Dan,
No.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Purnell,
No.
Ms. Sedgwick,
Yes.
Ms. Tosti-Basie.
She's,
Abstaining.
I needed her to say
okay.
it. Thank you.
And what,
4-3.
it passed 4-3 to reimburse Joanne Tostavasi $667.71. Now, do we have to go back to the other one? It's done.
Because it's a substitute.
Yep. Okay. Moving on. New business. Council, 2024 council meeting schedule proposed. Council will review and may recommend changes to proposed meeting schedule. Council action will be scheduled for the December 18th meeting. So I'll look at the meeting schedule, make
Two
recommendations.
questions and one change.
Okay,
The change is under the Borough Council meeting notice. On September, you have September 3rd and 15th. 15th is the Sunday, it should be the 16th.
Thank you.
you got that, Monroe?
Yes.
Was that located?
On the Borough Council meetings.
September 15th to the 16th.
And then under Bellefonte Borough Authority meetings, you do note that November 5th is Election Day. I think it would only be fair to the members of the.
We've never not had a meeting on Election Day.
it's
I
just
can
the-
check with, they're going to look at it too
Yeah.
on the 12th.
Why don't we ask them if they would like to have it moved?
I give them the same schedule and I get feedback just like I do with you guys.
Okay, and then the other one is just a question. I know Columbus Day is a federal holiday. It's not here in the borough, but October 14th is Columbus Day. Do we want to move it for that or not? It's just a question.
Why they're tearing this statue down?
There's other days that are not days off, if that's your question.
Yeah,
There's other days we're moving meetings
Yeah.
because the federal government has holidays that we do
Right.
not.
yeah, that's why
So to
I'm
be
asking.
consistent, I think we move for Columbus Day, right?
Yeah, it's actually called Columbus and Indigenous Peoples' Day.
That's what it's called now.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think we've done it too. I think it's 2 other occasions we're moving
Yeah,
on a federal holiday when
Yeah.
it's not for the borough.
yeah, so why wouldn't
Yeah.
we?
Yes, I would agree. You want to be consistent.
But I looked at all the others, none of the others that I saw were federal holidays. So
Okay.
it's just that one.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the next item. Authorities, boards, and commission vacancies. Staff is checking to see who's interested or not interested in being reappointed. Appointments/reappointments will be made at the January 2nd council meeting. No action required. Next action item is J.C. Orr and Son Incorporated application and certificate for payment number 4 for the 301 North Spring Streetscape project.
Yeah, this is the Armory.
The Armory project. I'm looking for a motion and a second to remit the payment to J.C. Orr and Son for the 301 North Spring Street Armory project.
So moved.
Thank you.
A second.
In the amount of $104,357.50. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Bernier.
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill.
Yes.
Ms. Clayton.
Yes.
Ms. Dan.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Purnell.
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick.
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey.
Yes.
John Nastis Construction, application and certificate for payment number 3 for the Spring Streetscape project. Looking for a motion and a second to remit payment to John Nastis Construction for the Spring Streetscape project.
Tongue twister.
I won't do that to you next year.
Yeah,
So
thank you, thanks.
Second.
Brackbill and Dan.
Okay. So, let's see here.
Just out of curiosity more than anything, how much more work do they have left?
They're really, it's complete and closed out. The only thing that's left is
That's
the
it.
plantings, which we're gonna hold off until the spring, so
So they won't get paid until the.
the final payout will not be until then.
Okay.
That's all that's left.
Okay,
Need a vote on that, right?
yeah, roll call.
Mr. Bernier.
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill.
Yes.
Ms. Clayton.
Yes.
Ms. Dan.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yep.
Ms. Purnell.
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick.
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey.
Yes.
Okay, last item, council member comments for the good of the order. Do you mind, Rita?
I don't mind.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to make the same announcement I made last time with a different date. The Convention of States is having another meeting in December, coming up on the 16th at the Watermark Church at 10 a.m. I was hoping to see at least one or two of you there last time. I was kind of disappointed, so I'm hoping you might show some interest and show up and see what it's all about. And the other thing is, I'm going to give a shout out to Carrie Rodney tonight.
Okay. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Rodney. Thank you. Anything else, Rita?
No, that's it.
Deb?
Yes, tomorrow evening, Tuesday, December 5th, from 5 to 8, everyone is cordially invited to the ribbon-cutting open house reception for the new Curtain and Armor Holiday Railroad display at the Bell Mercantile. This is the all-new G scale, so these are the bigger trains. Layout and the village set in the 1920s to 1940s era will operate as an integral part of Victorian Christmas. So the official ribbon cutting is tomorrow evening, and this will run through the end of December. So stop in and see it. It should be really fabulous.
Very nice.
Anything else?
That's it.
Thanks, Deb. Joanne?
Nothing.
Randy?
Fire department. I had put out, I sent Alyssa an email about sending out 2 meeting minutes. It never came out. Then I saw it go through my email again today. It was supposed to be at the table, and I don't see it here. The purpose of that is because the fire department wants council to read the minutes of the approved meetings, or the meeting minutes. And they feel right now like Bellefonte does not support them. And Ralph, I want to invite you to a meeting in January when they reconvene, and there are new people going to be coming on. And I had gotten really frustrated during that last couple meetings because it was just very difficult to get something done. And we need to do a better job between the borough and the fire department.
Okay.
And I'm serious about this. And that'll be, well, they meet like the third or the fourth
Thursday,
of each
we
month.
we have a conflicting meeting, so we'll maybe have to arrange a special meeting or something.
However we got to do it, but it has to be done. It's just ridiculous. And I'm trying to get, they had appointed me as their person to run the meetings and kind of co-chair it. And I've been doing that, and I've been doing all the agendas. And I finally felt like it's time for them, to take it back and let them funnel that leadership through the other firefighters so they know what the hell's going on. And I'm still willing to stay on that committee, but I just don't want to run the meetings anymore. And it was something that Undines had put in there probably back in 2017. And it's gone long enough. It wasn't supposed to go that long as it's gone so far. So just wanted to get that out there and let you guys know.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Don?
As Bellefonte's representative to CNET, I just wanted to let you know that Cindy was able to get CATA on board as a new member, so they will now be participating in CNET.
That's it?
Curiosity question. Does that,
Oh, because of their cost formula, will that be actually reducing
Should help the
other?
with the formula, but as you know, it takes time, so, but just,
Yeah, I think I look at the 5-year average.
right,
That's it?
that's it.
Just, number one, fire company is welcome at this public meeting anytime and can be put on the agenda any meeting.
They
So-
want Bellefonte to come to their meeting.
They are welcome to come to our meeting with their concerns as well.
I told them that.
Okay, so I'm not putting our borough manager on the spot to have to attend these meetings when the door works in both directions. But if we give Ralph that directive, we'll agree to do that, that's fine. So that was,
I didn't direct it, I invited him.
Yeah.
okay. It sounded, okay. But they're welcome to our meeting
I know.
anytime
I know, I told them.
and speak publicly.
Because they were
With their
accusing me of
concerns.
not doing my job with them, and I said, listen, if you guys want the borough to do something, you need to show up at the
Right.
meeting.
Sure, that would be helpful.
I know it would be.
Okay. And my other comment is, what we just voted on tonight was very difficult for me. And I don't want it to happen again. And I think highest priority of this council for next year will be to have a clear understanding of travel to conferences and how to be reimbursed. I'm not extremely happy about it, but I think it was a fair decision based on the facts that we had, in my opinion. So, that's all I have.
Next meeting, we're planning on having the council meeting over what I'm going to call the large room at the Armory. It'll be primitive because we won't have construction complete. But I understand the wishes of council to at least try to get the last meeting of the year over there in that meeting room, or that meeting space. So that will be happening. We'll advertise accordingly. The ramp that is available for the big room will be usable. People can also enter off the Spring Street entrance, off of through the steps or the ramp. So we look forward to seeing everybody on December 18th, 2 weeks from now, over there. So thanks. I wanted to let people know that we'll be over there next time.
Okay, Barbara.
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Johanna.
I just wanted to say that so my son and I went down to the tree lighting in Talleyrand. That was nice. We went and picked up supper, went over to the park, sat and had a picnic in the dark before they took the lights on, and just kind of enjoyed being in the park, actually, at night. And then they turned the lights on. It was great to see so many people out. And then walking home in the dark, walking up through town. We talked so much about those lights at the intersections and the crosswalks. Finally got myself out at night walking those crosswalks to see how bright they actually are. And it felt good. Like, there was enough light I felt when I was crossing at the Diamond and at those places. So that was the first time actually walking with those lights instead of just driving through town. And it gets really dark once you get off this end.
Great. Thank you.
Nothing.
Nothing.
The whole reason we're having this meeting in the building that's not really ready to have a meeting and it's gonna cause a lot of ruckus is because we want it?
Because I want.
Can we get a vote on that? I mean,
No,
it
we're not.
sounds like this
No,
is
no,
gonna
we're not
be a
voting on it.
mess.
Just show up.
And I thought it was because we had so many days to comply with something, but no, it's because we want them to clean up the dust
Right.
and move the things
That is
out of the way
correct.
so we can get through and wear hard hats.
No.
Just want the public to,
No.
we gotta wear hard hats.
Doug's on one meeting.
It's a
in
construction
Boston.
zone.
That's correct.
Right.
That is exactly
Yeah.
right. Full disclosure.
Well, I hope you're
asked-
happy, Mr. Johnson.
I am very happy.
If somebody gets hit in the head with a 2x4,
That will not
Motion to
occur.
adjourn, Doug.
Well, no, first we did have an executive session before this council meeting, and we are having one after this council meeting. So I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Dan, Brack.
We're adjourned.